long story short, I created the business within 3 days. Wow. And was able to continue with my first client.
Can you share some advice for people out there?
Make sure that you take breaks because life, along with work, can get overwhelming. So make sure that you take breaks and get adequate rest.
Welcome to Mastery Podcast, where we explore the art of living fully, balancing mind, body, spirit, and passion in pursuit of a better world. I am your host, Dr. Sass. And today we are thrilled to have with us Crystal Foushee, and she is the visionary behind C&D Academy, LLC, where they empower new clinical contract managers to excel. And she is a seasoned and highly experienced clinical contracts manager with a wealth of wisdom and long history of working in all areas of clinical contracts. Welcome, Crystal. So glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Dr. Sass. I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you. Now, Crystal, your entrepreneur story is quite different. You didn't choose to be the entrepreneur.
I did not.
You were kind of just thrown in the fire. Here, if you want to continue to work with us, you have to go create a business, something like that,
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. I had went through 2 restructures at the company that I was with. And for the last restructure, my immediate supervisor was very impressed with the work that I'd done. And she said, I have an opportunity for you. But the catch is you got 3 days to create a business. And I was like, really? And she was like, yes. And so long story short, I created the business within 3 days. Wow. And was able to continue with my first client.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs out there, they struggle, right? They want to be an entrepreneur, right? And it takes them years and years to develop all these skills. But you just like 3 days, I'm there, right?
When you're given an opportunity, because you never know when it's going to knock, right?
Right.
And so when the opportunity knocked, I was like, okay, we can breathe. We can do this. We can create a business. Yeah. You're going to be doing what you're familiar with. So giving myself kind of that internal pep talk that I could actually get this done. And from there, it's just kind of taken off.
Beautiful, beautiful. And with all the knowledge that you gather over the years, what do you recognize with all these contract managers that you come across? There is something missing.
Yes.
Right?
There is a fundamental gap between when you first get the job and then when you're practical day to day from what you do from day to day. So I sat down and was like, well, what can we do to actually help this problem, right? Because I was kind of a unicorn. I came into a team that had a very wonderful manager who took the time and had the time, right? Because we had resources and we were fully staffed and she had the time to adequately train people. But that was not always the story. I learned that that's very rare. And normally what happens whenever someone starts, they get a couple of weeks of kind of the company's history, maybe some HR training. And then you kind of delve in and you've given your contracts and you're expected to kind of pick up and go.
Right.
And so, there was this major gap missing from how do we train people to be effective in their position, to know what they need to know for their first day, and to actually feel confident to get it done. So that's where I stepped in and created a training.
That's amazing. And C&D Academy had this special process that you go through that prepare the new contract manager to like shine on their first day, right? What do you call that process?
So we have a 3-step process called Learn, Master, Launch. The first part of that is actually taking the training, which will in turn help you master what you need to do from your day-to-day task, all the way down to actually providing a slight bit of fallback to help you during your negotiations. And then we're going to launch you out into your career and hopefully help you build and be able to, whenever you get those yearly reviews or you get those tough things, you know what to do. But on top of that, we also want to offer, I don't want to just leave you, right? I don't want to give you a training and say, you know what, good luck. So we want to create a community where we can actually foster ideas. We can actually keep talking with each other. We're going to do that through our Facebook group, and then quarterly meetings where we actually just check in on each other and we say, hey, this is what we're seeing as a trend that's coming in. What do you all think? Or have you experienced this? Or just give people an opportunity to actually follow up with the training. So they're not just launched into the world and expected to get it all together in an hour and a half.
Throw in the fire.
Right.
I do that to some of my guests, just throw them in the fire. Never been on the podcast before. It's just like, wow. But that is amazing what you are doing for the contract managers. I understand because we all been through this journey, right? Of leadership, of managing and stuff like that. And your first day, your first year, it's like a fog.
Exactly.
And you help lift
that fog.
That is amazing. And now, Crystal, you have these values that you live by, that you function by as a company. Is accountability, collaboration, teamwork, and loyalty. And these are something that you hold near and dear to your heart. So how do you incorporate all those values in your program? I know you were told by someone that you expect a lot out of people, and that probably come from the accountability, right?
Yes.
And can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes, I had a business coach tell me, she was like, your expectations of people are really high. And I was like, I just thought that was normal. But I think whenever you empower someone to actually make their own decisions, they step up for that accountability. It gives them the confidence to actually be able to do what they need to do and be successful in what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, as you're compounding it, your company is going to be able to have better retention because you're going to empower people to know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then when people know what they're doing, that just makes the company successful.
Beautiful. Wow. You're just like, yeah, that's what I do. Roll right off your tongue. That's amazing. And I love that. I love the values and I'm glad that you hold people accountable.
Yes.
My husband also coach people in different area. And there's a qualifier. You have to be a doer. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have. Accountability. You got to do your work.
Yes.
Right.
You actually have to do the work, but before you can do the work, you need to know what you're doing.
Exactly. So that's why you're here.
A lot of clinical research can be trial by fire, and any seasoned professional in there know that we've probably already been through that. Mm-hmm. So in order to help combat that, and then maybe take some of the fear out of it, right? Because you're actually trying something new. Mm-hmm. It's a different language. So with any new business, you're learning new acronyms, you're learning new terms. So just kind of taking that fear or that kind of fog out of it, and being able to give someone the tools that they need to actually get the day-to-day job done. Absolutely. I think is just so empowering, and it creates that accountability. And I think it makes people want to learn even more.
Right. And what do you find is the most rewarding when you create this program?
So this takes me back to my management days. So what was more rewarding for me is that I would say at least 90% of the people that I've managed in the past and have kind of went through this program, they are leaps and bounds beyond where they even thought they would be, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where I get my joy from. Clinical contracts, clinical research is my career, but people are my passion. So to know that they have made sustainable jobs or careers out of maybe a little bit of tidbit that I had to do with that, that's what brings me joy and what keeps me motivated.
Thank you for that. I'm sure a lot of clinical managers going to appreciate this training so much. Yes. And can you share some advice for people out there? What would be the 3 pieces of advice that you would give for healthy, empower, and abundant life?
3 pieces of advice that I would give are: 1, make sure that you take breaks, mm-hmm. because life along with work can get overwhelming. So make sure that you take breaks and get adequate rest. 2, never stop learning. Right. It's always going to change. It's always going to constantly change. What we did, 5 years ago may not necessarily work now, especially with the way that technology is going. Right. So in 5 more years, it might look a little more different than that. Yeah. And then 3, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, we all don't know it all. I don't know everything. And so when I don't know something, I know to go and ask for help and to get help and receive help. And that to me is empowering as well. And as well as accountability. One of the best pieces of advice I got in school was said, know what you know and know what you don't know.
And that's a great piece of advice. Y'all keep an open mind. None of us know everything, right? And where can people find you?
People can find me. I have my website, www.cdacademycourses.com. And you can also feel free to reach out to me via email, clfoushee@cdconsulting.com.co. And you can also schedule a meeting with me via my website.
Crystal, thank you so much for this truly enlightening conversation that we have now, and your dedication to move the contract manager from not knowing what to do to just being this amazing contractor. You have a name, like a beautiful name for this. What is it called?
We're going to be guardians of the contract.
Oh, yes. I love that.
That's what my course is all about. We're going to come in, we're going to guard that contract. We're going to make sure that it is favorable for both parties, and that we actually, are able to do that in an efficient way, because that's literally what can be a rate limiting factor, is that it takes so long sometimes for contract negotiations, but we want to reduce those timelines. So yes, you will be a guardian of the contract.
I love it.
You complete the course.
I love it. Guardians of the contract. And for everybody who's listening and watching this show, Crystal's story reminds us that the right guidance and passion, we can make a significant mark. Be sure to check out her work and keep pursuing your own mastery. Crystal, thank you so much for being here. It's amazing.
Thank you.
The guardian of the contract. Everyone, keep chasing your passion and see where they lead you. For more inspiring story and wisdom on living fully, balancing mind, body, spirit, and passion, don't forget to subscribe to Mastery Podcast. And until next time, this is your host, Dr. Saas, signing off. Keep living fully and striving for excellence.